Wow.
Wow, this is some really deep stuff.
I don't know what just happened, but something happened inside of me. Something snapped. Something.
I wasn't expecting that
either. Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's beautiful.
Monster is like really small, but it had to become that to stop me.
And then the hurt child became present when you mentioned it.
And I didn't realize this until now.
There were things that I didn't remember until now.
Funny. I haven't seen that before.
It feels like I'm the monster. I'm kind of seeing images of things. Of a world where they can exist. This clarity brings all kinds of answers.
It's clear. She hugged me and then went back to her place, I guess, in my heart. Oh, it wants to come out. It wants to bippity boppity boop Cinderella me. She's melted into my chest. It's ooey gooey.
All week been finishing things, cleaning up more, started eating vegetables again last week. And it kind of just started happening. It's almost like I just finished going through a meditation session.
I feel light. When you hit that first joint, in the morning, and
I actually feel a lot more awake.
Whoa, it was my video. It's an accident.
Hi, James.
Hi. How are you?
I'm okay.
Okay, I also accidentally forgot to hit record. I think my brain is a little bit off today.
Okay.
I was just playing with a honeybee.
With a honeybee?
Yes.
Wow. Do you keep bees?
Yes.
Me too. I did for 11 years.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Sometimes I dig a struggling one out of the grass and try to examine her.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
pull all the ants off of her and see how she's doing.
Yeah.
How many colonies do you have?
I don't have any anymore. We had, at one time we had 6. We were down to 2 when my husband's parents fell ill, and driving back up and back down the East Coast to care for them. And wax moths took our hives, and we never replaced them.
Yeah, I have just 2 now. Anyway, how you doing?
I feel like our last session, I actually named the one who believes she has to find the sweet spot that's not too sweet.
Yes.
I named her Goldilocks.
Okay.
And I'm seeing her. She's showing up. She's always been here, but I wasn't aware of her until we did this work. Mm-hmm. And I was aware of looking for that perfect number in my glucose readings, but I didn't see how I was doing the work on Sunday, working the belief, moving forward is dangerous. Mm-hmm. And when I got to how do you react when you believe this thought, I realized that when someone is encouraging me to move forward, I'm looking for that sweet spot so that they won't leave me, but also so they won't expect too much of me. So it's like I'm seeing it more and more in different places. And I had a really bad low a few days ago. And when I was coming out of that, I hopped in the shower and I had a conversation with Hurry, or with the one who's, numbers. In that case, it was numbers. And I said, can you see what you're doing to her? Can you see that this isn't working? And I felt like I really had an understanding that I haven't had before. So,
All right.
yeah, there's a lot of, and I'm a little even nervous to say this. I've been told for decades that I should write my stories, and I've never felt really, the whole moving forward on that. I don't know. It just never, I never could seem to take any steps forward. And there's something about find the sweet spot that's not too sweet that feels like some sort of overlay of my whole. If I wrote a memoir, that's what it would be about. I mean, someone who has diabetes who kept bees for 11 years. There's just so many. Yeah, there's so many ends to the finding sweetness. And there's still a lot of fear about failure, that I couldn't do it. It would be too hard, or I don't know. So I feel like I'm rambling, but that's where I've been.
Okay. We also talked about a 15-year-old part last time we talked.
Okay.
And I'm wondering how much any of this is connected to that. I can say more if you're.
Yeah, could you?
She was the one who was told that the skirt is too short, and then that it looked great, and had to witness her mother being beaten, and was under the covers and under the bed.
Yeah.
And some of that seemed to be around getting the right number to feel accepted.
Yeah. And also looking for that. Again, it's like I wanted my father to see me, but not too closely.
Right.
Because if he doesn't see me, then I don't have a father. But if he sees me, if he looks too long, I might be in danger.
Right.
And I experienced that. I probably said this before, but it's like, I remember just crying out to my husband and saying, I want intimacy. And then he holds my face in his hands and looks at me for longer than 3 seconds. And I'm like, what are you doing? It's like too sweet.
Yeah.
So it's back to that. Yeah.
Okay. And you mentioned continuing work with her at the time that we talked. You mentioned learning more. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did. There were a couple of nights that I just pulled back the covers and invited her in. And it didn't last very long, though. I don't know.
Okay.
And now I'm feeling a little shame that I haven't kept my commitment, or.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, those parts are welcome too. I hope you're not feeling that for me. I'm not feeling like shame on you. I just wanted to help connect the dots and see if that would be a shortcut or if that's where we wanted to pick up. But we can start anywhere, and we could start with a minute of meditation if that will help.
Yeah, let's do that. That usually does help.
Okay, I'll set a timer. Okay.
You know,
So,
Jack, I was looking back over my notes, and one of the things that 15-year-old said in our last session was, there's more of my story I want you to know, not more I want you to tell.
right.
And it's interesting that I'm talking about possibly writing my story.
Mm-hmm.
And there is another, I don't like to use the word war, but there is another battle about that.
Yeah, maybe a storytelling part.
Yeah, it's like, and I don't know, it's like, don't write it because you won't complete it. You know, there's a whole lot of those kinds of excuses, but I wonder if there's something under that.
Yeah.
And then when I hear this one say, there's more of my story I want you to hear, not more I want you to tell.
Mm-hmm.
No, she didn't say hear, more I want you to know.
Right. Yeah, and that's what I'm always telling people is how much of the story I don't need to hear.
Yeah.
And, I'm always saying that the important thing is that you hear from them and you understand them.
Yeah.
So I don't want to add to the war there, but that's probably what I would encourage is more of that listening. I mean, that's what we're doing here.
Yeah.
So, any idea which part you'd like to work with first?
There's something about this part that says, you'll never do this. No, you can't. There's so much. God. I mean, I have thousands of pages that I've written. But putting it out in the world, everything changes.
And when it says you'll never do this, that's what it's referring to?
Yeah, putting it out in the world.
Mm-hmm. How would you like to get to know the one who wants to put it out in the world?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Can you find that one and how it shows up, where it's located in your body?
Well, there's a lot of suppression with this one because I've been feeling this for the last few days. It's a real lightness in my chest. Hope. Maybe it's possible. Curiosity. That's what I feel from her. She really wants to give it a go.
Putting it out in the world.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And how do you feel towards her?
Ugh. I'm scared for her.
Will you say more?
Well, there's going back and revisiting pain. And there's also the fear that it won't be good, or it won't be read, or it will be misunderstood. Yeah.
And is that different from the part that says that you'll never do this?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
They both work.
They both work to suppress this one that wants to put it out.
Yeah. One is, you know, one is protective, but it's still negative. You know, you poor baby, you couldn't handle it if you were rejected. And the other one is, you'll never do it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. See if you can ask them for space.
Okay.
So that you can get to know the one that wants to put it out in the world.
Okay. There's a lot of resistance to this.
Yeah, what's their concern?
It's a waste of time. You're just going to give her false hope.
Sounds to me like she already has kind of the false hope, because she has this hope and these other parts are making it false. I could be wrong about that, but my intention is just to understand what drives her, how she's experiencing anything.
She loves story. She loves metaphor and connection and connecting the dots and finding meaning in things that seem meaningless.
Yeah. Yeah, that's more than just storytelling, isn't it? Making the meaning.
Yeah.
Will those other parts give you space to get to know her?
I think so. They're mumbling under their breath, but I think they're
okay. We can check back in with them later.
okay. Okay. Yeah.
And how are you feeling towards her now?
I really love her. Yeah, I really want to help her.
Okay. We just let her know that. See if you can get her to notice you.
Yeah, she's a little mad at me.
Okay. Do you want to hear more about what that's about?
Yeah. Said that I'd tease her with classes and give her hope and then knock her knees out.
Okay. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it's like I get
Okay.
really close and then I let her get really close and then something.
Right. And then something.
Yeah.
Right. Some parts.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
parts are knocking her knees out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just let her know that you get that.
Yeah, I really do see that.
And that those are parts we can work with.
Yeah.
And you're not those parts.
Right.
How's she respond to that?
The old line for writers, show, don't tell.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Kind of like the 15-year-old was saying.
Yeah.
Sounds like she's working hard with that, making the meaning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why is that so important for her?
If there wasn't any meaning, it would just be too much pain.
Yeah. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no comfort.
Right. Right. So she's seen how when she's able to connect the dots, that the other parts or the system is comforted.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 How long? Mm-hmm.
And it's like, wow, there's something about I make things better. And oh, what there's a little anger, I make things better for everybody, but I only get so far and then you won't let me go any further.
Yeah. And do we know what parts don't let her go further? Is it the ones that say, "Poor baby, it won't
I
be
think so.
good"?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also something about I'm allowed to make meaning in other people's lives. Um, I get kudos for that.
Mm-hmm.
But in our life, I get shut down.
Yeah. And those kudos are also comforting, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're losing their luster.
Why is that?
Because she's still hungry.
Mm-hmm. Is this all making sense to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just show her that. And you could thank her for wanting to provide comfort in that way.
Yeah.
How long has she been doing that?
Long, long time.
Mm-hmm. Can she show you some of those parts that she comforts with her meaning making?
Mm. Yeah, my husband um just this weekend, someone washed one of his business checks and wrote one for themselves for $5,000. And I think it's like the part that's usually so stressed, you know, I heard her saying, we don't know if this is good or bad. And the ability to connect the goodness in it, and it really did turn out okay. I don't know what part she's comforting,
Mm-hmm.
and the ones who are always fretting that things are going to hell in a handbasket.
Right.
You know, she says, look again. Maybe it's time to stop writing checks. Let's look for another way.
Yeah, she sees the big picture,
Yeah.
tries to.
And she's brilliant at connecting dots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But the ones that are always fretting are still always fretting.
Yeah, I think sometimes, it's like, well, I don't know if it's another part, but it's like you're just a Pollyanna. This is bad. I don't know if that's there's just
Sounds
something
like another part, but they all have a.
about this oh man.
But there's pros and cons to every action of every protector,
Mm-hmm.
and they're all trying to provide comfort one way or another.
Right.
And so there's always parts that are saying, yeah, but that's not the way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She really wants to make something beautiful out of this whole, out of all of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because there's parts that feel like they're not beautiful.
Hmm. Maybe parts that are fighting for the ugly to be told. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. So you could ask her, what if you were able to go to the parts that feel like there's too much pain, or they're in pain, they need comfort, they feel like they're fretting, they feel like they're going to hell, or they're not beautiful. And what if you could help them out so that she didn't have to work so hard in providing this comfort for them?
Yeah.
What
Wow.
would she rather be doing if she didn't have to work in that way?
She wants to write
Mm-hmm.
and play in the writing. You know, she really wants to just not have so much hanging over whether it would be good or bad or
Right.
published or not, but just she wants to be believed in.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Without having all that extra responsibility of healing other parts and
Yeah. Yeah. And reassuring them that, you know, she's going to do it and she's going to do it right. And yeah, there's just so much of, can I just give it a try and see how it works?
Yeah. Yeah. So that could be something that you could help her with, is you could, and we can examine this. You can maybe lower the stakes for her by going to those other parts and providing for them so that she can feel free to play.
Yeah.
What does she think about that idea?
Yeah, she likes that.
She trusts you to do that?
I think she's trying to. Yeah. You know, there's something else too. She said she wants to write and play, but she also wants someone to believe in her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and is that part of getting the kudos from others that feels good to her?
I think
Or
it's
like
more.
part of the doing it publicly thing?
No, I think it's more in the actual process. Could someone rally and say, "Atta girl,"
Mm-hmm.
you know, long before it's published? Just
Yeah. Do you want to give that a try?
she feels really alone, James.
Yeah. Can you let her know that she's not alone when you're here?
Yeah. Yeah.
And are you up for that? Giving her that support along the way, and not based on the end goal,
Yeah.
the outcome.
Yeah.
How's she feel about that?
Hopeful and skeptical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what does she need from you to trust that you can do that?
The whole end game, the manuscript, the portfolio, it's like, could you just support me when we're going through old journals and reading? Could you? The bar is really high.
Yeah. Yeah, it might be.
I mean, it's hard to relax and play and be curious which may be back to the numbers and the hurry and those watchers who are constantly.
Yeah. I think the bar is really high if she's alone too. If she's got to do all this on her own and get that recognition from other people.
Yeah.
Convince other people to believe in her.
Yeah.
Does she see you in your current age?
Yeah.
Is there anything you can provide for her right now to demonstrate?
Yeah, I'm feeling really I'm feeling afraid that I can't.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Maybe we should hear more about that, more from the concerns there.
No, it all feels real scrambled.
Okay. Well, this is all kind of new, right? This part's felt alone, and now we're telling her that you're here and you can work miracles. So it would make sense for parts to be doubtful or scared.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'm not sure I can work miracles. I mean,
did you meet with that 15-year-old in the bed?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you told me something like how how many times you told this story, but you'd never been there for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Waiting on someone else to help her.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when those scared parts step back and they allow self to be present with parts, then that is the miracle that is IFS. That's what we're all practicing.
Yeah.
And it provides for parts in a way that others can't.
Yeah. I have a writing buddy who has a coach, and I've been thinking about hiring her. And I realized that until I can meet this one, we'll be in the same place,
Right.
And
Right.
I see how much I've done that. It's like, I look to my right where this part is standing, and I go, okay, as soon as they help us, you'll be okay. Rather, instead of me helping.
Yeah. Right. That's just other parts. I mean, that's just so normal. That's what parts are. Parts that aren't familiar with self and its presence are always looking out. And what she wanted was someone to support her in going through the old journals.
Yeah. And, there's something, James, about it just being, whenever I start down that road, it gets so hard instead of just, well, let's see what we find. Let's see if there's anything here. It's the attitude.
It doesn't feel very playful.
No.
Right.
It feels like an agenda.
Right. Right. Again, and is that because she's trying to save the day and heal and help other parts that are hurting by connecting these dots?
Well, no, it feels like the part that shows up for her has an agenda. It's kind of like you're moving, and I show up and go, okay, James, I'm here to help you move. There are the boxes. Let's get on it. But there's no, it's like, let's just get this over with.
Right.
And that's what it feels like. I'm giving her more than, let's just see where this leads. It might not lead anywhere, but I don't have an agenda. But I do believe in you, and I hope that it will lead to something that makes you happy, that brings you comfort.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can just keep learning from her what comforts her. She wants to play. She wants support. And again, I am assuming that there are also other parts, exile parts, that she's kind of protecting by working so hard. And that by you being there for them, her work wouldn't have that same quality
right. Desperation.
Of desperation.
I hadn't thought about other exiles.
Yeah. The ones that would feel like there's too much pain if the meaning wasn't made. Where that pain comes from. Or the ones who feel like I'm using the words not beautiful, because this part's saying, well, we got to make something beautiful out of this. So I'm kind of hearing that as, okay, parts feel like they're not already.
Ah, yeah. Now I hear you. Yeah.
And that might also have to do with from our last conversation we heard from a part who didn't feel pretty.
Right. Yeah.
Are you able to get a glimpse of any of those parts now? We don't have to go there, but
there's one that's going, okay, so what now? What that
mm-hmm.
I don't know how to describe her, but she must be one that's trying to make meaning too, right? It's like, okay, you've taken 45 minutes of James' time, and what now? What's the bottom line? That's what I hear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, that part's welcome. I don't feel like you've taken any of my time.
Thank you, James.
But I get the question. What's the bottom line? Where are we going? And so, I'll just try to describe quickly. There's working with protectors and there's working with exiles.
Mm-hmm.
And I am sensing that this part that really wants to make the meaning is a protector.
Oh.
And yeah, she's working hard. She's got a job, and she's striving. And she's kind of, even though other parts try to push her down, she's still kind of in the foreground. Right? You're hearing from her regularly to put stuff out in the world, to make meaning, to write your story. And you can work with protectors. You can just work with protectors, and that means what we're doing here, you're going to them, you're figuring out what they need. And then exiles, protectors are kind of driven by exiles typically. So there's the ones that she's protecting. They're the ones who, there's the pain beneath that she's trying to make meaning to alleviate.
Wow.
And so once you've met the protectors, you start identifying those exiles. You listen more about, okay, where's that pain coming from? Exiles are usually younger, usually have more of a historical kind of feeling, usually feel like they're carrying shame or a fear of abandonment or not being good enough.
Mm-hmm.
And then doing the exile work is a lot like you did with that 15-year-old. It's going back, meeting them in their time, setting things right in their time, providing for them back then, inviting them to come move in with you so that they don't have to feel that way anymore.
Wow.
And then often these protectors suddenly aren't so needy. They don't need as much. They don't need to work as hard to put the thing out in the world because they don't have anything to prove, because you've already proven it. You've proven that the exiles are lovable by loving them.
Hang on. I think where I got my wires crossed was I thought this one that wants to tell the story was an exile.
Mm-hmm.
But when you said protector, it's like, who is she protecting?
Mm-hmm. And sometimes parts have, kind of a bit of both. But the fact that she has kind of a job,
Yeah.
That
she feels like she's failing at.
Right. And that it's really, really important for her to do.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And that she needs to do it to provide comfort. Like she has this role that's going to make things feel better.
Oh my God, James. It's like now my curiosity is just off the charts.
Woo!
Because it's like, well, it blows what's your life purpose kind of out of the water, right? Because
I don't know.
sometimes that feels, well, so many times that feels like a job rather than.
Yes. Right. Yeah. She's the one looking for this purpose.
Right. Yeah. And then, and then I will have left a legacy.
Right.
And people will remember me. And people will be comforted. And
Right. Okay, so those are the things that she's concerned about. That if she doesn't do that, then people won't remember you, for example. So that to me sounds like they're exiles who feel forgotten. Feel like they don't have value. They're not known.
wow.
Yeah. It's also why, often even when protectors get what they want, it's not quite right. She doesn't have the tools to really satisfy those exiles in the way that self does. In her mind, she's going to do that through telling the world a story.
Right. The most beautiful prose will not meet their.
Right.
Yeah.
And she probably kind of knows that.
Which might be why it's not happening.
Yeah. Yeah. Other parts know that, and we've heard from them saying, well, this isn't going to work. And she has her own kind of doubts. And really she wants to play and wants to be free of that burden and that weight.
Yeah. And there is a part that really wants to write.
Yeah.
But the weight,
which is great.
The weight of it.
Right.
The burden of it.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Because she's writing for that feeling of not being known or not being loved or not being good enough.
Oh, okay.
So those are the exile parts that you can go to, and you can check all this out with her if any of this resonates. And that's the bottom line. That's where we're headed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's a process. It's a process. There's lots of protectors who all have their own ideas about how to get this done.
I would never have seen that. I'm so glad that you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that protector felt, I don't know, I've had compassion for my other protectors, but this one felt so right, so true, so me, so blended.
Yeah. Well, and she's very, she's a positive part, right? Like she's hopeful and she's positive, and people do say good job for writing a book. That's a pro-social.
Good job for connecting the dots.
Right.
Wow.
And hey, there's nothing wrong with writing. Like that's not the message I want to send is, well, that's stupid. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it doesn't have to have that same weight to it.
Yeah.
She can be freed up.
Yeah. Which is what's kept me from it for so long, is the weight of it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because it's, the questions, will you be remembered? Will there be a legacy? Will it make a difference?
Mm-hmm.
And how do you know that? You don't know that.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. And you can know about your own connection with parts. So when you connect with that 15-year-old in your nighttime ritual, that is something that is totally independent from anyone else in the world. And it is that getting to know that is so much more valuable than telling.
Yes. Telling a story about she was kidnapped, she was this, she was that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And she's still going, I've heard the story.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've heard the story. That's not helpful.
Right.
Wow. Thank you, James.
Yeah, thank you. I think you're doing a great job. I think that every conversation, we're getting more of a clear picture of who these parts are, who the protectors are. And yeah, you're understanding more about, the difference, which is often subtle, between protectors and exiles, because they all need you. They all need your attention and presence.
Yeah. Wow. Well, thank you for the added girl.
Yeah. And
because I really was worried that I didn't do it right. It's like, boy.
Yeah, you can turn around and give that to her.
Yeah.
And again, I think, if all we did was work with protectors, that would be great, but it would probably also be kind of an endless process.
Right.
Because the exiles are still in pain. And so sometimes, we meet a protector, we learn about their exiles, and sometimes we can just say, okay, let me just go to that exile. Because often that's kind of the cause, and the protector is kind of a symptom. And so we're deciding what are we treating, today, right now? Are we going to that root pain, or are we dealing with this one of the many protectors, whether they're managers or firefighters, whether they're writing books or they're drinking us into the ground?
There's something about this protector that really had me. It's like, I don't pay her enough attention. She needs me. All those, I'm not doing it right. But it was a way to keep me from looking at the ones who feel forgotten. It's like, I don't know. It was such a distraction. And I know I need to pay attention to her, but not in the way I was paying attention to her.
Yeah. Right.
It's like the only thing I was doing is saying, oh, I need to give you more time to write. And I need to keep, I was helping her protect those parts.
Right.
Rather than telling her she didn't have to protect those parts.
Right. Or rather than offering other ways, again, like there's nothing wrong with writing, and yes, it does bring comfort, and yes, maybe it does help others. Like there's all kinds of great things about it, you know. And I would say the same about pretty much every protector. They generally have some good, even externally, that we can point to.
Sure.
So, you know, we're not trying to get rid of them or kick them out of a job. It's just giving them, it's providing support, and it's providing other tools, resources, self, which can go to any part, can heal exiles.
Yeah, instead of giving her another shield, put a blanket around her.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, thank you, James.
Okay, how does she feel about all this? Is any of this?
I think she feels a little exposed now. It's like, I wanted you to think I was an exile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you can love her
Yeah.
as much as you love every exile. And I think that's another message that I'm trying to send, is that it's not protectors bad, exiles good.
Right.
Or that they deserve you and these ones don't. They're all part of you. They're all going to be there forever.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to write.
Okay, great.
I'm going to write to the
Great.
meaning maker. I'm going to ask her to talk to me.
Yeah.
She's gotten she's got a lot of pats on the back and look what you do. This is incredible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, ask her those questions about who she's protecting.
Okay.
You know, just in your exploration with her, keep that. You got your notepad with her name on it, and then you have your other secret notepad over here of all the exiles that she's working for.
Okay.
So when you hear about parts that will be forgotten, parts that don't feel beautiful, etc., then you can start seeing that, okay, here's the next places to go.
Okay.
And I'm happy to help you with that.
I know. Thank you, James.
All right. Okay.
Have a wonderful weekend.
Okay, you too.
Okay,
Hope to talk with you soon. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Do you want to help bring more self-energy to the world? If you'd like to participate in calls or help out with this project in any way, I'd love to hear your ideas. Join the Discord server or contact me at james@liveifs.com. A huge thanks to our audio engineer, Yvonne, for your care and diligence in editing the calls. To every caller for your courage in sharing some of your parts. And to anyone out there getting to know their internal system, keep going. Who knows? That might be the most selfless, helpful thing you can do for others, and you're the only one who can do it. If you'd like to see us reach the largest audience, we must please the almighty suggestion algorithms at iTunes and YouTube. And they don't care about the power of IFS. They're looking for likes and shares and comments, and the sooner the better. Follow the links in the show notes right here in your podcast player to make your wishes known. And now, a minute of meditation. Or if you prefer, pull over. You can do it in 60 seconds. Just click one of those links. They're right there, and give us a like or a 5-star rating. It would really help. If you think this project is helping people, you're helping people by sharing it. Thank you.